So autumn season is here in full effect. And naturally, what does that mean? That snowfall, the holiday season, and that cuddle up on a couch and not go outside feeling is right around the corner. So why not play around with a winter photo in the develop module and create a sort of holiday vibe from it. So I'm gonna take a winter photo of this lamp and turn it into something that looks like this and light her right up. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so let's start out by opening up the develop module where we'll be making all of the edits in today's video. As a first step, we need to select the radial filter, which is up here towards the top of the interface. And it's located among these other tools within the develop module. Now we need to choose a size of the filter to correspond with the lamp and just simply click and drag to make that work. I think that's good right there. And once we've got it, we're going to need to invert the selection so that we edit everything around the filter versus the entire photograph or the lamp itself. Okay, so now I'm going to lower the exposure a bit to dim the surroundings around the lamp. Don't go overboard, just slightly like this. And I'm gonna do the same with the light slider and the shadows too. And you can see how the photo looked before and what it looks like now. Just a little bit of a dim vibe. Okay, so now I'm gonna create a new radial filter, and like I did before, you just click and drag it out. And this time though, I'm going to create it a little bit smaller and to match the size of what this bulb in here looks like and what its glow would be like. And I think that's right around just like that. And by just grabbing it in the center, you can move it exactly to where you need it. Okay, now comes the tricky part. Move over here to the color overlay, and let's select a color of what the light bulb is going to be. I'm gonna select a sort of warm yellow, warm orangish color. And we're gonna need to alter the intensity of this color by moving this slider here. And as you can see, we've got a glow coming up. But remember, you can always come back to this slider later on, so don't worry about it if you went overboard. Now remember, because we have the radial filter selected, it means that when I change the intensity or anything in this parameter, it'll stay and apply only to the filter itself and not the entire photo. Okay, so at this stage, it still needs a lot of spice to look realistic. Right now, it just kind of looks like an orange blob. So let's move down to the drop menu of the blend mode and select overlay. Okay, so just that move right there made it look a lot more realistic. So now we just need to adjust the exposure of the glow, and remember, we're still just working in the radial filter itself, so it's not gonna affect the entirety of the picture. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of contrast like that, not too much. And I'm also gonna manipulate the lights and make sure when you're adjusting these not to go overboard. I'm also gonna lower the shadows just a little bit. I'm also gonna move the gradient width slider right here, just to give it the glow kind of more of a natural range and sort of fade into the background and not just a sudden cutoff point. And I think right there it looks pretty damn good. And as I mentioned earlier, we can always come back to the intensity of the color and change that just if it needs a little bit more fine tuning. And I think right there at 74 is a good level. Okay, so we're done with this, we can close it off. And since we're at this stage, let's go ahead and check how the photo looked like before and what it looks like now. All right, so we've got a nice winter looking vibe in this image, but what if we're all not that satisfied with it and maybe there's a little alternate version we can make with it? Okay, so to create another variant and compare the two versions together, right click on the image and the film strip and hit create variant. Now variants are special in that they're not really a copy of the original image. They only take up a small fraction of the space a regular copy would use, so you can create multitudes of them and they come in really handy when you're not really sure if the edit you did with the original picture is good enough. Okay, so I'm gonna select our variant and just increase the temperature on this ever so slightly. And to compare them, I'm gonna hold Shift and click on both of them. And when you compare these two side by side, it really doesn't look bad at all. If I had to choose, I think the one on the right just gives a little bit more of a kind of welcoming vibe, but ultimately that's up to you. All right, so what do you think? Do you prefer the left or the right? The cold or the cozy? Let us know in the comments below. Give us a hitchhiker as well. Have yourself a wonderful day and see you next time. Adios, amigos.